round number 10 of the 2024 Grand National Cross Country Racing Series here at the Buckwheat 100. Johnny Gerard coming off back-to-back XC1 class wins. Can he keep the train rolling at the Buckwheat 100? Will Stu Baylor answer back? It all starts right here, right now on RacerTV.com.
Are you ready to go? GNCC Racing!
Well, hello and welcome to round number 10 of the 2024 Progressive Grand National Cross Country Racing Series, presented by Specialized, your national championship. We are here at the Canati Tires Buckwheat 100 in Newburgh, West Virginia for round number 10 of the 2024 season. Mikey Wayne's here. I'll be taking you through today's racing action. We begin, as always, with a look back at our previous round. Of course, the iconic, always iconic, snowshoe GNCC with that start on the roadway, kind of our paying tribute and homage to the Blackwater 100. Stu Baylor having a great ride out in front early in this one as our riders working their way through Howard's Hole, taking a look at that Specialized race recap. And boy, there's just nothing quite like it. Last round going into the summer break, packed full of action, a race like no other. Saw some great back and forth with our riders out in front. Stu Baylor being challenged, Johnny Gerard in the fight, and this one sitting atop the points lead, and really Stu Baylor needing wins here to close out the year, to close that gap. But boy, the 969 of Johnny Gerard, just sensational, as is, or has been, Grant Davis back in that XC2 class. We'll talk more about that throughout this episode, but it was the 969 of Johnny Gerard hanging on for a win just in front of Stu Baylor, and Grant Baylor in the mix as well. The 314 having a solid day. Forgive me, Grant Baylor taking the second place spot, Stu taking third, rounding out the box, Ashburn fourth, and Grant Davis rounding out the top five. And there is your point standings. Gerard with a pretty convincing lead.
Oh, man, I knew. I turned around at like the 9-10 mile marker, and he was right on me. And I'm like, man, there's a little bit of ski slope, and the dust is in my advantage. And, man, I pinned it down there a lot faster than I wanted to. And, yeah, I came down to a second, man. That was a good race. And about, I don't know, two and a half laps to go, I think Grant came by me like I was standing still. And I was like, holy cow, I gotta get going. And latched onto him, and we were ripping, and he lost his brakes and made a couple mistakes. I was able to sneak by, and yeah, I knew it was go time, man. That was gnarly. I'm tired.
All right, we fast forward to today, about a 12.5-mile racetrack for the XC1 Pro riders as they are off and rolling, jockeying for position in that XC1 Whole Shot Award. That is going to go. Is it going to be Liam Draper? Yes, it will be the 198 Am-Pro Yamaha, grabbing that Steel City Medical Center Whole Shot Award, and the 198 of Liam Draper. Boy, a great start for him here in the XC1. Out in front, leading the way. Gotta hand it to Liam. Just looks good on that machine. That is Gerard there in that number 2 spot. And of course, Liam Draper making the jump up into the XC1 here late in the season. Obviously, things not going the way he really wanted to in the first half of the season, defending that XC2 title. So we'll see what Liam Draper has got in store for these guys. Getting late into the season here. Going to be fun to watch that one. The XC2 Pro-Am class, jockeying for position coming into this one. Grant Davis, as mentioned, has been absolutely sensational all season long. Absolutely unstoppable in that XC2 class. He's got several wins. Matter of fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in the XC2 class coming into it. Of course, he had the big overall win in Tennessee, I believe. But nonetheless, a historic season for Grant Davis. Really looking forward to seeing how he closes out the year. It's hard to find something in Grant Davis's resume here in 2024 that says, boy, you need to improve here. He has been tough to beat. Show some respect to the other guys as well. Angus Reardon, 3 wins coming into this one. And, of course, Josh Toth early in the season had that win in the XC2 and an overall win in the class as well. Zachary Davidson there, the 199, toward the back of that class, trying to catch back up to that pace. FMF XC3 class. Whole shot award up for grabs courtesy of LoJack Cycle Sales, and I believe that is Dustin Simpson, the man they call Dirt by Jesus, going out and grabbing a whole shot. Relinquishes that early lead, but nonetheless, great start for Dustin Simpson as we take a look at that FMF XC3 125 Pro Am class. Dakota DeVore been sensational this year, coming into this one with, 5 wins coming into today. Jack Walker's got 3 wins, sitting second in the points, but this one, with Dakota DeVore been the guy to beat. We'll see how round number 10 wraps up as DeVore coming off a 3rd place finish at Snowshoe just before the break. As the rest of our riders rolling through, I believe that was some of our A riders. That was Nick DeFeo, T-Rex leading the way with the A classes coming through here for your Buckwheat 100. So, and showing some of the amateur guys some love. Love to see it. Good to see out there having their own battle for the next 3 hours. Well, we are off and rolling here. Let's see how this one sorts out. We'll be right back here in just a moment. Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. RockyMountainATVMC.com. Get ready. And welcome back to GNCC here on RacerTV.com. Liam Draper on the Ampro Yamaha leading the way. That is your points leader, Johnny Gerard, in the 2 spot. And there is Mike Wachowski in the 3 position. Jordan Ashburn just behind him, as I believe that was Josh String just behind him in about the number 4 spot. So XC1 riders still very close together. Not a whole lot of separation here to start things out. Evan Smith, the 347, toward the back of that pack right there, but still in the fight. Draper still leading. There is Gerard in the 2 spot, and Mike Wachowski. I tell you what, Mike Wachowski and Liam Draper, 2 names kind of synonymous with one another in the XC2 ranks. Really looking forward to seeing what they're doing here in the XC1. Obviously, Draper off to a sensational start right here. How long can he hold off the points leader, though? Ashburn always in the mix. Just kind of this silent assassin. Impressive stuff to watch him. And that was, I believe, my mistake. I think I said Strang. It was actually Craig DeLong rocking the number 1 there. Front number plate covered up in mud. Should have known it was the Husky ride. And oh, how about this for some action? Jordan Ashburn sending it as Craig DeLong will take some roost, as does Mike Wachowski. Mercy sakes alive. This is what GNCC Racing is all about right there. Ben Kelly throwing his name into the hat. How about that for a fight? And there is the Intimidator, Trevor Bollinger, the 739, just toward the back of that pack. Great riding by Jordan Ashburn to be able to stay on that machine, get back going. And it cost him a position. No, it does not. Ashburn back up into the 3 spot as Wachowski behind him in 4th and DeLong in 5th. So that was some action early on in this one. Love to see that. And you got to hand it to these guys. There is Josh Strang, the number 7, rolling through right there. But got to hand it to these guys, man. Out there for 3 hours at a time, in amongst their own battles between the XC1 Pro riders. And then, of course, you've got your amateur classes out there as well. We'll talk a little bit more about the lap traffic once we get into the nitty-gritty of this one. But will come into play, no doubt. Always does. But Liam Draper, the 198 Ampro Yamaha, doing his thing out in front. big question here around, 10, 11, 12, 13. We got 4 rounds left in the season. Can Liam Draper maybe pull off a podium here to close out the year, maybe a win? You hear guys talk about it sometimes. Going up to the big bike just fits them better, feel better, and man, maybe Liam Draper is that guy where the 450, he just seems to flow with it. Well, only time will tell, but it's going to be a fun one to watch right there. Stu Baylor got to get to work here. As mentioned just before the show started, really needs to win some races and certainly needs to finish in front of the man who is out in front now of Johnny Gerard. It looked like Snodgrass for the moment was into the number 2 spot, but gets past right there as he has some trouble. A gnarly section right here. I mean, the camera doing it a little bit of justice, but maybe not entirely, as, boy, how about that? The 35 machine of Angus Reardon up into the mix. The XC2 riders up into the mix at the tail end of those XC1 guys. Going to shake things up. Stu got to get up front. Having some struggles here today. See what he's got toward the end of this one. But Johnny Gerard trying to capture what would be his 6th win of the year and put himself in a good position to close out the season. Or to close out the tail end of the season, I should say. And put himself in position for that national championship. As Gerard, again, coming into today, 5 wins under his belt. Opened up the first 3 rounds with XC1 wins. Now, he did have in round 3, the overall win went to Josh Toth out of that XC2, making some history. But nonetheless, Johnny Gerard has been in control. The message has been very clear from Gerard throughout the year. He says, I'm very focused on playing the long game. You know, he said, wins are great. Would love to have more of them. Craig DeLong having a sensational day today as well, the defending national championship. But Gerard, very, very poised. He said, the wins are great, but, you know, I want to make sure I'm putting myself in the best position to maintain that points gap and focus on the national championship. And he has done that to this point through 10 rounds of racing. See if he can keep it rolling here. Liam Draper's dropped back a couple of positions, but still having a sensational ride back there in the fight. Got his own fight going on. Gerard has taken the reins of this race now by himself. No, he's not. Thought he was for the moment, but a little bit of breathing room. Back to second place. And there goes Craig DeLong in third. Just behind those guys, got his own 3-way battle right there with Ben Kelly toward the back of that pack, chomping at the bit. You know, Ben Kelly, of course, coming off the big injury last year and just not completely healthy. Did not race, obviously, until today, so it's going to be interesting to see what Ben Kelly has got for these guys in the last 4 rounds of racing. Can he manage a podium? Where does Ben Kelly want to finish? Where does he think he can finish amongst the XC1 pros here? Going to be a good test for him to close out the season. Of course, eyes probably more set on, hey, what can we do next year? Let's go out there and feel things out here to close out the last 4 rounds of racing. Now getting a little bit of separation here, and this is what we were talking about with the lap traffic. You know, these guys are no slouches. These are A riders. These are B riders. You go to your local track in the state, and you might think these are the fastest guys on the planet, and they certainly are some of the fastest, but when you put them, compare apples to apples next to the XC1 pros, and we saw Grant Davis back there out of that XC2 class, just pro riders at a GNCC level are on their own planet. I mean, just a huge gap in the talent and the determination, all the things. These guys just, they make it look easy, a little too easy sometimes, but it is fun to watch them go to work here at a GNCC. Gerard, the 969, factory KTM, the goggles off. Don't matter. Don't need them. He's out front, got the clean air, enjoying it. Trying to bring this thing home as he is still under some fire. Second and third place coming through right there. And Liam Draper still within striking distance. Can Liam pull off a podium here today? He is in the fight. Jordan Ashburn having a great ride. And, of course, Ben Kelly in the mix as well. And Stu Baylor, the man who needs the points here today, trying to make something happen back there. Ashburn doing a fantastic job of holding off the rest of the XC1 pack here, or the guys behind him at least, and a lot of those guys have made mention. He's a tough guy to pass. Johnny Gerard leading it. How's the podium going to shape up? Gerard in control right now. We'll be right back after this. Progressive GNCC Racing is brought to you by Progressive. Progressive could save you hundreds of dollars on your automobile and motorcycle insurance. Specialized E-Turbo bicycles. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com. Get ready. And welcome back to GNCC here on RacerTV.com. Johnny Gerard sitting second on the track, or I should say on adjusted time. As on adjusted time, it is Grant Davis leading the way. How about this? So Gerard in the number 2 spot, but still sitting in a good spot as far as the overall is concerned. He needs to finish in front of Jordan Ashburn. He needs to finish in front of Stu Baylor, Craig DeLong. He's doing all of those things. He's in the right place. There is no doubt about that, but boy, respect where respect is due. Johnny Gerard, second on the track in adjusted time, physically out in front, under fire. The number 198 in the mix. Getting down to the nitty-gritty right here. Jordan Ashburn in the fight. How is this one going to play out? And Ben Kelly having a great day. Welcome back to GNCC, Ben Kelly. There is Gerard on screen. One of our A riders rolling through right there. And trying to track him down, Jordan Ashburn. Man, Ashburn really wants a win to close this season out. See if he can make it happen. He has been close a couple of times. You go back to the round in Tennessee, call it what it was. It was a hometown race, essentially, for Jordan Ashburn. Just a stone's throw from the track. Was riding great all day. Wasn't able to make it happen that day and just has seemed a little hungrier since then. Ashburn, kind of that silent assassin. Talked a little bit about this early on. There's your leader, Grant Davis, the 922. This young man, just sensational. Absolutely a season for the history books for the 922 of Grant Davis. Has done just about everything right and puts himself in a position for an overall win here today on the adjusted time. But again, back to Jordan Ashburn. You hear the XC1 guys. We've had some guys coming off of injuries or what have you will come into the booth, talk about what a difficult rider he is, arguably one of the most difficult riders to make a pass on. But how about this? Johnny Gerard bringing it in here. He is going to hang on if he can keep it on 2 wheels, or at least keep it under control as he buzzes past the auxiliary pro pits. One more turn to go, and will bring home the win for the XC1 Pro Class, the 969 of Johnny Gerard, getting it done with no goggles. How about that? He says, I'm good. I'm fine. I'll be just fine. And there is Liam Draper, and it is a celebration between the two of them. Draper choosing to toss the goggles as well. Maybe that was the secret to today, but nonetheless, great job by him. And how about this young man, Grant Davis? Are you kidding me? Being celebrated there with his mechanic, Andy, and his dad by his side.
Oh, honestly, it feels amazing right now. I can't believe this even is happening. I mean, getting on the overall podium and all is cool, but to win it, that's just a whole different story. And I actually came into this race with a 3rd-degree separation and a pinched nerve in my shoulder. And I was struggling them last 2 laps. I couldn't even hang on, and I just kept falling over, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Then I kept getting pit boards saying I was right there, and I was so squirrely the last couple sections. I had like no rear brakes the whole race, and then I was definitely on the edge.
Well, again, a big congratulations to Grant Davis, as mentioned, and how about these two? Johnny Gerard will take the win in the XC1 class, and Liam Draper finishing behind him.
Yeah, man, I got a good hole shot, 2nd place with Liam Draper, and yeah, I was sick. We were just cruising and had some pressure from Jordan Ashburn and kind of rode out front, but not in first overall. The XC2 guys were ripping, and yeah, I found myself first overall, and then I guess made a couple mistakes that last lap, honestly. I got sweat in my goggles and had to rip them off, and I kind of bonked out there, honestly. I had a rough night last night and just couldn't sleep. I think I went to bed at 3:30, woke up at 10, and I knew it was going to be a long day. Yeah, no excuses, but Grant Davis rode sick, and yeah, I gave it all I had out there. So it's a good day.
Well, as we take a look at your top riders here today, top 10 overall, Davis, Gerard, and Draper, 1, 2, and 3. Ashburn going to finish 4th. And Ben Kelly, welcome back to GNCC, rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I was super nervous, being my first XC1 race, but got a whole shot and was leading these boys. I looked back in the field, and they were all in a train behind me. It's like I was about to get mowed over, but I was pretty stoked to lead for a few laps, and then had a crash and went down and caught right up to Johnny on the last lap, and me and Jordan had a battle towards the end, so pretty stoked on it.
Well, that is going to do it as we take a look at our point standings now. Gerard sitting, alone atop the point standings. Stu Baylor, a rough day for him, going to finish in that 2 spot as far as the point stand. But how about that? You notice there, Grant Davis, 3rd in the overall as far as the point standing is concerned. A sensational season by him continues. Cannot wait to see what that young man does with the last 3 rounds of racing. How about it? Liam Draper grabbing the Steel City Medical Center Whole Shot Award and leading a big part, a big chunk of this race. Craig DeLong had a great ride today. We mentioned him a few times and wanted to show some love to Ben Kelly as well, having a great ride today. In addition to that, but the number 1, Craig DeLong, looking a little more like the Craig DeLong we saw last season. Of course, this year been some up and downs for Craig, probably more downs than he would have liked to have had. I have no doubt about that, but Craig's still perfectly capable. A win contender, a championship contender by all things considered. But as this race wore on, it was Johnny Gerard taking control of the lead, never really relinquishing it physically. But boy, some sensational riding by Grant Davis. We just saw him there as Gerard brings out the checkered flag, a celebration with his good buddy Liam Draper. But it was that man right there, the 922, continues this historical season with an overall win here at the Buckwheat 100. So congratulations to Grant Davis, Gerard, and Draper, your top 3 in the overall. That is going to wrap things up for us. We'll see you at the next one. I'm Mikey Waynes, and we'll see you at the races.